The Supreme Court has recently issued the Janus decision where public workers who are not members of unions no longer have to pay their fair share for services. You are a labor advocate. What's the response going to be to such a difficult decision for union rights?
So first of all, we need to be clear about what we're talking about here. Last week's decision by the U.S. Supreme Court was the biggest attack on organized labor that we've seen from the court in 40 years. And essentially what this decision does is folks who are represented by a union, whether they're paying dues or not, still have the opportunity to get services and to get collective bargaining and to get a better contract because their union representatives are fighting for them. It's been illegal to charge someone dues if they don't want to pay them since 1947, but you've had to pay a fair share fee, to pay for your share of the cost to operate the bargaining unit for the union. What the Supreme Court did last year was struck it down. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg has said that this is the same thing as telling a restaurant, someone can walk into your restaurant, look at the menu, choose anything they want, and not have to pay for it. That's what the Supreme Court did to our unions. And this has been an organized attack by far right-wing interests. They know that labor unions traditionally have been stakeholders of the Democratic Party, and they've been working as hard as they can to erode their power. That's what the Supreme Court's decision did last week.
What is the Democratic response going to be?
So last week, within hours of the decision, many of us were gathered outside of the federal courthouse here to protest and to say that we are going to stand with our brothers and sisters in labor to fight harder than ever. The Democrats introduced a bill to strengthen collective bargaining rights. That's something we could do by making the election process easier for new union employees. And so I was a proud co-sponsor of that bill. It was introduced right after the Janus decision. And I signed on to a letter with many of my colleagues in the House denouncing the Janus decision. Now, I should say, though, the Republicans are on the move, too. In the week since the decision has come down, there have been 2 new bills introduced to attack labor rights, to make it harder for folks to organize, harder for them to bargain collectively, and we know that these are attacks on the power of unions. And so whether it's coming from the Supreme Court or right from our state capitol in Harrisburg, our brothers and sisters in labor are under attack right now.